Hi guys, I recently put out a call for questions on Instagram and the questions were for John and I, so we are here. I won't be able to get to all of the questions. I had 80 questions, so I selected 7. There are some very similar questions within those 7 and I tried to get to the most popular ones. So let's get started because hopefully this video won't be too incredibly long, but there's a potential.
If we did all 80, that would be a challenge.
Right. Okay. How did you meet?
I'll let you tell the story.
Me?
Yeah, you tell it better than I do.
Oh, okay. So John worked at the gym and I went in with one of my friends. He was sitting at the desk. And then I guess I just recently found out that he was all prepared to ask me for my phone number.
Yeah, we were just talking about it and I had planned it out. She didn't come in the next day. She was sick, but I had a plan in the works to make sure that I got her phone number.
So he, the next time I went in, he was working and he asked if we could talk sometime, which I thought was really nice. And so I gave him my phone number and the rest is history, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, we met when I was 20 and John was 21, right? 20 and 21.
I think so.
Yeah. Alright, how did John know Jen was the one and vice versa? So how did you know I was the one?
Well, I think after we had spent time talking together, I would get off work at the same gym pretty late. It would be like 11 o'clock at night, and then after I closed everything up about 11:30, so she would be done with school for the day and she would come up there and we would just spend a lot of time after work talking, and we'd go out every once in a while to like Denny's. And
it was the only thing open late at night.
Yeah.
We were college students who were working like crazy too.
Yeah. So after I got to know her more, I think I knew pretty quickly.
Yeah. How did you know?
Well, you know, I just really liked you. You know, I got to know you through talking a lot and spending time together. And I didn't think you were a total goofball, so
that's good.
You had a measure of intelligence and that type of thing.
Yeah, and this is the best part. This is my favorite thing. So he worked at a gym where I'm sure there were plenty of attractive people in there all the time, and I'm the only girl that he's ever asked for her phone number, so I thought that was pretty special.
Sometimes the people weren't attractive though if you go to the gym a lot.
Yeah, that's true. I don't look very attractive when I'm at the gym. But, you know. Okay, so how did I know you were the one? Well, I honestly, as cliche as this is, I kind of had a feeling the first time I met him, and I wasn't even ready to settle down or anything like that. I wasn't a Christian yet, and we'll get to that part, but I just kind of had a feeling, and that was kind of weird, but he was just, and still is, so different than a lot of guys. Like, he really cared about getting to know me, and he did not want to play games, and he was just really genuine, cared about me as a person, and yeah.
But now I do play a lot of games. I play Catan. I like Monopoly a lot.
Golf.
Golf.
Lots of golf.
Yeah. I play lots of games now.
I feel like I have lipstick on my teeth, so that's why I'm making weird.
But I didn't want somebody who was, you know, out to bounce around and, you know, be involved with 5 people at one time, so.
Yeah, and he let me know that, not in a rude way, but right at the beginning pretty much, and I was like, this is nice. Okay, who became a Christian first? Or was it around the same time? I got asked this quite a few times. And was the other open to it as well, or did it take time? So I'll let you answer that.
I'll let you explain that.
Me? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So when I met John, I was not a born-again Christian. I believed in God and I would have called myself a Christian, but I had no real relationship with God through Jesus Christ. So I lived my own life, did my own thing. You know, I would have said that I believed the Bible, but I didn't really know a whole lot about it. And when I met John, well, actually before that, I had started reading my Bible a little bit. I didn't really understand it because I didn't really know any born-again Christians. So, you know, I was just out with my friends and doing my thing and going to school and working and everything. And I would ask my friends every once in a while, or if I was like dating someone, oh, you know, we should go to church. And they always would look at me like I was crazy. So I never really went. And when I met John, when he called me the first time after he got my phone number, I was like, oh, what have you been up to or whatever? And he said he was reading his Bible. And I thought, like, really? And I wasn't necessarily looking for a Christian man or anything at that point. It was just, I didn't know anybody that was like reading their Bible or interested in Christianity or anything. So it was just kind of different. And so up until that point, how long before did you start with?
Yeah, and I wasn't in any way a born-again Christian from a young age or anything like that. I had grown up really not, you know, believing anything per se. So I was, you know, I had a really wild lifestyle when I was a teenager and into my early adulthood, you know, so it was pretty bad. And I was, you know, being led by God to the truth that I found in the Bible. And so it was probably about a good 2 years that I had been reading the Bible, talking to some Christian people, going to church here and there before we met. But I was pretty serious at that point when we met, and you know, working through a lot of issues from the past and everything, trying to learn what it is that, you know, God wanted from me in my life.
Yeah, so John would say that he was a Christian person, and we believe that he is. Now for me, when I met him, I definitely was not a born-again Christian, but I was very interested in it. And I don't actually know the day that I got saved. I used to think that I was saved before that, before I got married, so around the time that John and I were dating and everything. But looking back, there were just things that I wasn't willing to give up, and I don't know that I fully surrendered to Jesus Christ, or if it was just like the process of sanctification, like God working on me to change. So it's really hard for me to say. I always say after I was married, because I know for sure after we were married, and I can go back to a time where I knew for sure that I was a Christian. So yeah, to answer that question, John would have been saved first, and then...
But I'm still in that category as well, because there was a discipleship class that we went through, or a class where they explained the basics of Christianity. And I remember even in that class that we were taking together, there were a lot of, you know, eye-opening moments for me where I understood things from the Bible about sin and, you know, how we're related to God because of our sin, and things about the, you know, the gospel and Jesus coming and what he did and the importance of all that I did not understand before that. So there were definitely you know, very central truths that I learned during that. You know, it was an extended teaching time, probably like 20 weeks or something that we went through.
Yeah,
so.
And Christianity isn't complicated. Like, realizing that you are a sinner and that you need Jesus, who died for our sins, and you're willing to surrender your life and obey him, is a very simple. It's very simple to come to Jesus and receive forgiveness. But for me, because I've mentioned I was so different, and then I did change some things, but I wasn't really willing to change other things. And that's why I don't know if I was genuinely a Christian until Christian was a baby. Our son Christian was a baby. Okay, we'll make it a lighter question. All right, what is your favorite thing about Jen? And then I am to answer what is my favorite thing about John.
Well, I would say, and this stems from her faith in God and in Jesus Christ, but her devotion to our family, I think that's probably very high on my list, because she's in love with me, which I'm thankful for, because I'm not always, loving or deserving of love. I have my own issues and everything, and sometimes I'm really cranky when I wake up. That's another issue you have to deal with. But anyway, she's very devoted to our family and is, ultra devoted to our kids and making sure that they are prepared for their lives in all the different ways that they need to be. And obviously she takes care of the house and all that's going on here. So, I'm very thankful for that, because not everybody's that way. Obviously some people, they try to get away from the home, and for a variety of reasons, but she's very much committed to our family. So that's probably the biggest thing that I can think of.
So we didn't tell each other our answers before we sat down, and that's my same thing, my favorite thing about John, even though obviously he's a man and it's different, but that he's devoted to our family, that besides God, we're his top priority, and he knows what's going on with each of us, and he is involved in the kids' lives and what's going on with them, and he is happy to just hang out with us and go out with the kids and do something, or go out with me, or just hang out here, and just his involvement with our family, and obviously that he's a Christian, and he's devoted his life to God is the main thing, but all of that, because of his devotion to God, he's devoted to our family, and that's just a really, really great, secure thing for a wife.
And that was, just to add to that, going back to some of the previous questions, that was not always the case. I mean, I could give you a very long list of all the character faults that I've had over my lifetime, especially before I was a Christian. But I was an extremely selfish person and lived for myself, and got into all kinds of different things when I was younger. So it really took God's work in my life, by His Spirit, and understanding His Word, and being with other Christians who encouraged me to, but primarily that work of God's Spirit in my heart to change me from the inside out, that did that. And I still struggle with lots of things, as all people do and all Christians do, but that was not always the case. So it's been a process in my life, but now I am happy to spend time with them, and I wanted children from the time I was but from the time that we met. I was interested in having children and a family and everything.
Yeah. And I'm nodding my head because we're all selfish, not because I'm like, yeah, you're selfish, but I'm...
Yes. Let me tell you.
No, because I have changed in that way too. I got asked a lot about how to keep a strong marriage. What is your secret to keeping your relationship healthy? How do you have a successful marriage? Any advice for a newly married couple? And obviously we are not like marriage counselors or experts or anything, and we don't think we know it all at all. But we'll just share what we think. Do you want to go first? Or?
Yeah, I would say A big one would be spending time with each other. I mean, I think that doesn't necessarily solve every problem that you might have in a marriage or in your marriage, but I think it helps a lot of things, because if you plan to develop a better relationship with anybody, you have to spend time with them, and the more time you spend, it tends to lead to more, talking about what's going on in your life and the other person's life, and having an opportunity to, address problems or issues that have come up. It's difficult if, one spouse is off in this direction, the other's in this direction, and you're only, texting or talking briefly, and, everybody's going in a different direction. So I think time together is really a big element that needs to be there.
Yeah. I talk to my kids about this, although they're teenagers, but I think just constantly, not constantly, like every day or anything, but continuously, talking to them about these things. And one of the main things that I think is so important when you go into marriage is to be committed to it for life. I have seen so many people get divorced in my time, and I know that we're all capable of being selfish or whatever, and sometimes you might want to stay in a marriage and it's not your fault and all of that, and I completely understand that, but being very committed to your relationship and your marriage and doing whatever it takes, talking through issues before it becomes, where it feels like it's too late, being humble enough to get counseling if you need it, or talk to, another couple who has a strong marriage. It could be someone your age, it could be someone older. I know there are Christians that I know that are my age that would talk to their parents even, and get advice about things. There are a lot of really great books on marriage that we have read, and I've mentioned this before, but we, with two other couples who are our age, Christians, both couples have amazing marriages, and I really look to them as, great examples. We've read marriage books together, and we've read books on prayer and stuff, and we got together like once a month and talked about that, but that was a really great thing. And also along those lines is having friends who are also really committed to marriage, who will encourage you if you're like, feeling like you want out, or you're having a really hard time with a certain issue, and they will encourage you. And I know a lot of people I know watch my videos, so I am very careful about what I say, but I have friends who literally do not complain about their husbands in a very disrespectful way. They talk about things amongst themselves, but if there was ever a big issue, they would come to someone and respectfully ask for help. And I think that's so important, to have people, relationships around you like that. Also, like John said, spending time together, but for the newly married couple, and this is what I tell my kids, know that there are going to be times where you get on each other's nerves because when you're dating and you're engaged and you think about marriage and it just seems so blissful, everything's going to be great, and oh, but he's not going to get on my nerves, and he's this and that, and I can't even imagine getting to a point where we can't stand each other. But there will be times that you will just get on each other's nerves, or your spouse will do something, or you'll do something, and you just have to work it out and be committed. And also, sorry, I'm just rambling. Like I think I know everything, but I don't. It's just, this is something that I feel very strongly about, and I've, talked to a lot of people about. But also guarding yourself against adultery, being very, very careful. And even though, like, I would say, and I'm sure a lot of us would say, I would never do that, my husband wouldn't do that, don't be naive, because I have seen people do that I would have never thought, because we are all capable of doing things like that. So you need to be really careful about relationships with the opposite sex, people you work with, people you talk to on a regular basis, and do whatever it takes. If you find yourself thinking too much about someone of the opposite sex, then you probably need to cut ties. If it means not going to a certain place, even if it gets too bad, switching departments at your job or changing jobs, you don't want to ruin your whole life, over something like that. And it's just really worth it to be careful in that area. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's just got really kind of preachy, sorry, but it's just something that's on my heart. Okay, a little more fun. How often do you have date night? What are some date night ideas?
Every night. Every night's date night. No, it's not. No. Let me back up. We usually have a date night roughly once a month or so.
There we go.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little more often if maybe the kids have something going on. They're in a youth group at church, so if they have something going on, they'll go out for a couple hours with that group, and then we'll have some time to go out.
And we all drive to church together, so if they're going out with the youth group, we don't want to drive back, and then, so we'll go out then too. But that's kind of in addition to our
right, so sometimes we'll sprinkle one of those in too.
Yeah.
But usually about once a month, or maybe 2 times in a month. And we like to go out to restaurants a lot, so that's what we do primarily on date nights. But we also spend time, we'll go to like the University of Michigan, the campus there, and spend time walking around and eating at local places, and then Ben and Jerry's.
I did that picture on my Instagram with my recent date night.
So we just spend time walking around, and that's a place we like to go. But we'll typically go to a restaurant we really like, and then we'll try to fit something else in, and making a night just to relax.
Yeah.
And spend time with each other, just talk and laugh and goof around.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the main thing. We've been doing that since we've done date nights regularly for a long time, but I remember making them like a once a month priority when we had 2 like very little kids, when Josh was a baby. And we did them before that, but they weren't like, John had, different jobs and stuff, so we couldn't always fit it in. But yeah, that's been a regular part of our lives. And then we've also done trips together. We've gone to Chicago lots of times. I vlogged one time, but that was in the winter. But we like to go there in the summer. It's a lot more fun because you can walk around and hang out and everything. But it was windy and freezing. We still had fun. And we've done a couple. We went to New York City together. California. I vlogged our California trip. And
those are good videos if you want to go back and watch those.
Yeah, so we make sure that we have fun together, and then we hang out a lot. At night we'll watch a show. Sometimes we'll hang out with the kids and watch something, or play a game, or go out with the kids. But a lot of nights we hang out together. And
yeah, and also I'll just add to that, my parents were also have been a good example of that. They still do a once a week date night, so we can't quite do once a week, but they've done that for years and years, where every Friday they go out and sometimes our kids tag along with them, but normally they always go out on that Friday date night. So I just think that's, you know, it doesn't have to be elaborate. Obviously dinner is expensive, but you could just do something very simple where you just go to a park or go out for ice cream, or if you want dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, but just the time together, I think, is the main point.
Yeah, for sure. All right, this is the last set of questions, and then we better wrap it up because it might be really long. Okay, what does John think about you starting a YouTube channel? Does he like being in videos? And then do your friends and family know about your YouTube channel? How did you tell them? All right, so what do you think?
Well, since I'm on camera now, and this video will be posted,
yeah,
I'm okay with it. No, I actually, I think Jennifer would agree that I was very supportive of it from the beginning, because her basic concept to help women and, you know, people in general with their homes and organization and their lives and all these different things, I thought that was something that she really had a gift for. And when she sort of discovered that you could get that message out on YouTube, I thought that was a great idea. And it wasn't always easy. She works a lot, you know, it is, it's a real job, you know, so she spends a lot of time every week planning and filming and editing and everything else that goes along with it. And then I actually manage the financial side of it, so I do her taxes and everything that goes along with that. So
yeah, because no taxes are taken out of my income. I have to pay taxes quarterly, and he figures that all out for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Even though I'm the finance major.
Yeah.
But he likes to do that kind of thing for me, so it's nice. All
but
right.
I've enjoyed, I mean, I enjoy it. I think it's really a good thing. And, you know, I mean, Jennifer could tell you stories about the feedback she's had from you all, the viewers, about how what she's done has impacted your lives. And I mean, it's just amazing. From, you know, you've helped me become more organized, to I've started going back to church, to my family is in a better state now, and I mean, just on and on and on. And that's all God's grace, but also it's just amazing to be a part of it, you know, even though I always say I'm a minor character on Jennifer's show. But,
but if he didn't encourage me to start and kind of listen to me and encourage me when it was hard, I would not be on here. I just wouldn't. If I didn't have someone who constantly supported me, I wouldn't be able to do it. It was scary when I started, and he gave me the extra nudge that I needed. All right, so do your friends and family know about your YouTube channel? Yes. Pretty much every single person we know knows about my YouTube channel. I will be at a kid's concert, and someone will come up and be like, hey, my wife just made your whatever dinner, and John will be at his business meetings and they'll talk about it, and people will come up to me at church, and it's kind of embarrassing, like, hey, I saw you wearing that shirt in one of your hauls, or, oh, you know, such and such. It's kind of embarrassing. I don't really think about that when I film videos, even now I don't think about it, but that's one reason why I'm careful about what I say and don't show my friends and stuff like that, just to respect everybody's privacy, because lots of people watch. Kids in my kids' classes, their moms watch, and you know, pretty much everyone in my, maybe not everyone in our church, but everyone pretty much that I talk to on a regular basis.
Oh, everyone is just glued to their phones.
I'm just saying that, no, but I'm just saying it's not like no one knows, and I'm just over here I hope I don't find out. No. It never even occurred to me not to share, and I kind of like that everyone knows, because it's this is part of me, I'm real, everybody I know watches, so it shows this is who I really am. There's no hiding, you know.
Well, and also we've talked about this quite a few times, but when she first started doing it, I guess it was almost 3 years ago now or so, you know, it was really her concept that she has for the whole channel was sort of new.
Yeah,
you
there
know,
were some that,
yeah.
You know.
You weren't the first,
but
it
yeah,
was,
it wasn't like
sort of
super common. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I guess it is.
And so at first, I don't know that people really understood like what this is all about. Like you do what?
Yeah,
you know?
on YouTube? Isn't that for dancing cats?
Yeah, dancing cats and everything else. So, you know, there was that aspect where I don't think people really understood what it's all about. But now, obviously, it's huge, and you know, statistics are that people watch more YouTube than television and these different things. So I think everybody, for the most part, understands what YouTube is about. But as that's grown, you know, more and more people watch, and it's just, you know, kind of intertwined with everything we do now. So it's pretty funny.
Well, we're going to wrap this up. I hope you guys made it to the end, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you would like to see more videos like this. Thanks, guys.